Howdy, howdy. Nope. Howdy,
Yeah.
howdy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can't hear myself, though.
Well,
Interesting.
let me tell
Clearly
you.
it's working if you can.
I was going to say, what a dream for you.
Welcome on into the pre-show before the free show.
What did it do, party people? Look at us, 2 shows in a row. 2 shows in a row.
The haters said we couldn't do it.
What courage we have shown here at Texas Football Today. 2 shows in a row. I'm Greg, that's Ashley. A couple things. Are you playing with the little switches and gizmos and stuff?
Yeah, I am. Oh, there we go.
Is that better?
Yep.
Did you do it?
I did.
Okay. So, you and I, Ashley. May I call you Ashley?
It's weird when you do.
You and I, Ashley,
I don't like it.
have more or less signed up to be with each other for the next foreseeable future, right?
I was forced against my will, but yeah.
Yeah. So, especially Friday nights.
Mm-hmm.
Friday nights, you and I are going to be here at this very desk. I think I'm sitting here and you're sitting there. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm not the producer of the show. What
No,
clear.
as far as I know, that is correct.
Yeah.
I'm also not the producer of the show.
That's true. You're just talent.
I have little to no jurisdiction
She's
at any point in time this
folks.
season.
She's talent. So we're going to be spending the next, umpteen consecutive Friday nights together. So what do we do on Friday night? Our last Friday night that we could be apart.
Yeah, we spent it together.
We did. What were we thinking?
I don't know. And that was by
idea.
choice, too, which
It
was
was.
even more questionable.
It was. We went to your husband was in town.
He was.
And my wife lives here.
Mhm.
So the 4 of us went to fancy dinner. We did fancy dinner, and it was I don't know. It was like I try to do this every the final Friday night of the year, or rather the final Friday night of the off season. I try to make sure I do a little date night with Mrs. Tepper. She's she puts up with enough nonsense that Yeah, I think she wants you to. Hey, Sam, I think she wants to put it down.
Oh, well, yeah, but the other camera's not working, so
Oh,
we're just trying to
geez.
figure out all of these things.
Anyway, so I try to make sure we do date night, and so you and I went out and pretended to be rich people for an evening. Went to like a nice fancy dinner, and at this fancy dinner, the aforementioned fancy dinner, is very nice.
It was very nice.
Good time.
It was very good, too.
Good chance to see the B man. That's what I call Brian, your husband.
Okay.
The B man.
Sure.
The B team. That's
The B team works.
okay. Never mind. I take that back, Brian. I'm sorry. Had a great time, and so then we ordered too much food. It was a great time. Hold on. We ordered too much food and we took some of it home. Took some of it home. And one of the things that we got, and because this is just one of those I think this has become a real fancy restaurant thing, like a new thing for fancy restaurants. We ordered mac and cheese, but it wasn't just mac and cheese. It was lobster mac and cheese. So they're gussying it up. We didn't eat all of it.
No, we didn't, but it was very good.
It was
incredibly good.
It was very good.
That is the one thing that I would willingly pay extra for.
Yeah, and we did. To be clear, we did. However, what I would like, so then we brought it home. And folks, longtime viewers of this show know that I have a 6.5-year-old named Hank, who enjoys eating. He enjoys food. And the next morning, he asked, "Hey, what's going on with these boxes in the fridge, Dad?" And I said, "Well, this is leftovers from last night." He said, "Well, what'd you bring home?" Like, "Oh, we brought home some green corn. We brought home some green beans, and we brought home some lobster mac and cheese."
And Hank just started sprinting.
And so
I can only
that is
imagine.
how my 6-year-old son is probably at school today in 1st grade, telling his classmates that for Saturday lunch, he had lobster mac and cheese. He came to me at one point.
For lunch, too.
For lunch.
Like, that's not to be understated.
'Cause we had dinner
like,
planned.
Saturday dinner, okay. Like, that's still, for a 6-year-old, nah, that's a lot. But lunch.
Lunch.
Lobster for lunch, not in the Northeast.
He came to me at one point, and he said, "I think I have lobster in my teeth." My 6-year-old. And I want to be really clear that, like, he gets to eat 3 meals a day. Like, we are doing better. Like, we are doing fine. He gets to eat 3 meals a day. He has clean clothes. He has a family that loves him. He's got a roof over his head, etc. But we are not raising a lobster mac and cheese child. Okay?
I don't know about that.
We are not. I want to be very
Sounds
clear
to
about
me
this.
like you are.
I want to be very clear about this. And so now, and here's the problem. The problem is, this is not the first time he's had it. Because the place that we order our Thanksgiving turkey also makes lobster mac and cheese. And again, special occasion. I'm a special occasion guy. And Thanksgiving, of course, is the specialist of occasions. And so now he's got a taste for it. It's like
You're going to give him Kraft mac and cheese, and he's going to be like, ew,
Pass.
peasant.
Is this Paw Patrol mac and cheese?
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to work for me, father.
My palate has expanded
It is.
past that point.
It is. It was, and by the way, we went out to like breakfast on Saturday, or on Sunday rather, but we went at like late breakfast, like you could call it brunch if you want, if you didn't have small children. And he ordered mac and cheese, but there was no lobster in it because this particular establishment did not have it. It was a bougie weekend for Hank Tepper.
Yeah, no kidding.
Very bougie weekend. But I had fun at dinner. It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Now we get to spend 17 remaining Fridays of the year together.
You know why? It's game week.
It's game week, baby.
Hit the theme expo. Yes, y'all. From the new Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a show with football to watch this week.
Live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the editor-in-chief of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine and TexasFootball.com. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live at TexasFootball.com, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, or you're listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local, mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good, pressing the buttons, plugging in the things. She's the Duchess of the Dork. She's Ashley Pickle. Hello, Ashley Pickle.
Hi, friends. Yeah, we're plugging in just all of the things today.
Listen, guys, it's week 1 for everybody, okay? Including us here at Texas Football Today. Today is Monday, August 25th, 2025, a mere 94 days until Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
Happy birthday to Billy Ray Cyrus.
Oh, nice.
Billy Ray Cyrus turns 64. Yes?
This year is going to be the upcoming year. This year, I think it's the upcoming year. It's going to be the 20th anniversary of Hannah Montana.
Okay.
That
cool.
Intrigues me a lot.
Great. Yeah. Quick, small follow-up. How do you know that?
Because I'm a big Hannah Montana fan. And my mom sent it to me, actually, because we're really hoping that Miley Cyrus is going to go on tour again and do kind of like what Taylor Swift did with the Eras tour. I'm not a Swiftie, but big into Miley Cyrus. No hate to Taylor Swift. Let me be very clear before I get absolutely roasted online.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
I don't want to do that. I don't mind Taylor Swift. I enjoy her music, but I wouldn't consider myself in the upper echelon enough to be a Swiftie.
Sure. So what I'm hearing from you, and I just want to make sure, Ashley_Pickle12 on Twitter.
No.
What I'm hearing,
muting your mic. That's what's funny is you forget that I control all the power. Are you done? Are you going to be done?
Maybe.
You're on a tight leash.
So what you're saying is it's Ash. It's episode 18. Oh, I looked this up, by the way, because we had some discussion as to whether or not.
What is it?
I think we're going to go with 1875. I think we are going to.
Okay.
I think we are going to say that the coaching school shows are canon, and so this is episode 1875.
Okay. There we
On
go.
today's show, folks, it's game week.
It's game week.
It's game week. It's kickoff week on TexasFootball.com. We're going to talk sleepers. We're going to talk. I've got a sleeper in every classification that is off your radar, but it's not off of my radar. We're going to talk about some of the sleepers across the state of Texas. Then we're going to go to the Balaji Hotline and be joined by the new head coach of the Temple Wildcats. Coach Chad President will join us live on the air. We'll talk a little bit about his Wildcats as he prepares to coach his very first game as head coach. And then back half of the show, we surveyed more than 240 Texas high school football coaches and asked them questions that you wouldn't dare ask their face. We hid behind the internet. We gave them anonymity. Here we'll hear what Texas high school football coaches, the results of the survey coming up here at the back half of the program. We'll round it all out with final thoughts, et cetera, et cetera. Does that sound good?
Yep, sounds good to me.
Do we have first word through the door?
We sure do. BJWB.
He's
Big
back,
Jiggly
folks.
Water Balloons.
He's
Sup
back,
again.
folks.
Tony Blaylock, Lyle Good, and Joey Hill. Welcome in, fellas.
Welcome in, friends. We do appreciate you spending a little bit of your day with us here on the opening Monday of Texas high school football season. It's back, baby. There are games on Thursday. Like, there's a game on Thursday, like 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, there's a game. That's when Texas high school football season really kicks off across the state of Texas. And we've spent a lot of time across this offseason talking about teams that we're excited to see in the fall. And you just take a look at the rankings on TexasFootball.com right now and see which teams we're really excited about in the fall. But not every team starts the year ranked. Not every team, I think, not every team goes for the top of the pops, right? A team that's on the top of everybody's radar. And that's where we come in. And specifically me. That's where I come in and I'm like, hey,
just parachuting in.
here are some teams that I think you may not be thinking about, but I'm thinking about really, really hard entering the season. Teams that I think are off the radar that I think could have an excellent season. And I've got one for each classification, okay? 6A all the way down to 1A, okay? We'll start in 6A, and we'll start way out west. I am very interested in El Paso Franklin.
I like it.
Okay? This is a program that I think is a little bit off of people's radar because they're going through a coaching change. Darren Walker is out after one of the longest careers we've seen in El Paso high school football. And now they have a new head coach in Ruben Torres. Ruben Torres, of course, very exciting what he did there at Marlin. Comes back to El Paso to take over at El Paso Franklin. And he inherits a team that last year went 6-5. Okay? Average year for the Cougars. But they bring back 13 starters. They bring back, I think, playmakers where it matters, including a star running back in Ernie Powers. They've got a big-time offensive lineman in Juan Morales. But specifically what has me excited about El Paso Franklin and what I think could help them make a leap and be a sleeper this year, I'm very interested that they had a 9-1 JV record. Okay? This is a program that has a lot of exciting pieces around it, and there is a youth movement coming that I think could make them even better. So I am very excited to see what El Paso Franklin does in the first year under Ruben Torres out there in the Sun City. That is my sleeper in 6A. In 5A, I would like to direct you to San Antonio Lanier. Okay? You're going to look at this team and say they were 5-6 last year, lost in the first round of the playoffs. And that is true. But I think that what Lanier has cooking could have them on the verge of an historic season. Okay? Fourth-year coach Sal Tellez has this program continuing the upward trajectory. 16 starters are back from last year's team. They got two-way star in Brian Sanchez, a quarterback in Dylan Cachalamas. They are also, I think, in a winnable district in District 12 5A Division 2. Mm-hmm. They are, when you take a look at 12 5A Division 2, that San Antonio ISD district, they are, in my estimation, the most experienced team in that district.
Yes.
And as a result, I look at their schedule, and I'm saying, point to me the game you're sure they're losing. I'm just saying, pull it up, texasfootball.com. We've got the schedule up for San Antonio Lanier. Go look at their schedule, and I want you to tell me which game you're sure they're losing in the regular season. And keep in mind, by the way, they've been playing football since 1930. They have never had a perfect regular season. They've never had a 10-win season. I think Lanier could do it. The computer tends to agree with me. Keep an eye on San Antonio Lanier in 5A. In 4A, this is a Matt Stepp special. I'm cribbing off of Matt Stepp's notes here. Sanger. He's been banging the drum about Sanger for a while. And Chad Rogers, a coach that we have a lot of respect for around here, is back in the saddle there at Sanger, taking over a team that has 10 starters back on offense. 10 starters back on offense, including a 1,500-yard running back in Reggie Jones. Got an all-district lineman in Alex Zuniga. The difference for me and why I think I'm excited about Sanger, they're going to score. Okay? 10 starters back. They scored last year. What kept them out of the playoffs last year was their defense. They gave up nearly 33 points a game. Can't win a lot of games that way. That's why they went 4-6, missed the playoffs. But I think their defense, and all reports out of Sanger are that their defense has taken a step. Got a guy in an all-district linebacker, Max Taylor, back. They're also the most experienced team in District 5 4A Division 2. I'm in on Sanger. I think they can make a leap. I'm excited to see what they do under Coach Chad Rogers. I'm in on Sanger. I think the Indians have something special. That's 4A. To 3A. Let's go to Lamesa. Let's go out west. Okay? It's a team that went 4-7 last year. Okay? But I will say that they are in a very weird district. They're in that district 2-3A Division 1. 2-3A Division 1, if you don't remember, is a 4-team district. So the great news for Lamesa, they're in the playoffs right now. If they finish the season, they're in the playoffs. Okay? That's it. But because of that, they only play 3 district games. They have to find 7 non-district games. And as a result, they've kind of loaded up a fair amount of their non-district schedule. They went 1-6 in non-district last year before running off a perfect district record. Now, they ran into Amarillo River Road in the first round, and they got upset, which is odd because they had actually already beaten a team that they lost twice to Amarillo River Road. They play them in non-district. I think with 12 starters back, including their 2-year star, Celius McCurley, I think Lamesa has an opportunity to make that leap. They haven't had a 10-win season since 2000. I think that their defense could take a leap, and I think that overall Lamesa, if they can shore up that non-district schedule and just go 3-4 or 4-3 in non-district, then their record could have that big leap. And by the way, I think that they can get past the first round of the playoffs. That's 3A. In 2A, let's go to Petrolia. A little North Texas action, okay? Petrolia went 5-6 last year. And this is what I would like to call an on-paper pick, okay? This is an on-paper all-star in Petrolia, okay? Everything on paper, I love. I love everything on paper about this team. On paper, they look like a team that is ready to make that leap, ready to continue moving forward, okay? I love a year 2 bump. Coach Brad Blassingen in a second year. 15 starters back, including 2 guys in the backfield in Brody Jackson and John Denaglius. I'm pronouncing that right. Dagoneus. That's it. Dagoneus. Give me 3 times.
Almost got there.
They run the wing tee, and having multiple backs back there with experience, I think, is going to be helpful. But furthermore, if you dig into the numbers on Petrolia, it's Math Tuesday. If you dig into the numbers on Petrolia, they actually outscored their opponents last year. They went 5-6 last year. So that, to me, if you're a believer in advanced analytics, which your mileage may vary, that means to me that they were a bit unlucky. I think it swings back the other way. And I think Petrolia could have another really big year. I'm excited to see what they're able to do. And finally, down to the 6-man ranks. Let's talk about Miami. Miami for the uncultured.
For the uneducated.
Miami. Okay. Miami was a team went 6-4 last year, 3-1 district play. This is a team that I think by virtue of being in a relatively difficult district, especially with Follett, they're going to be and being in a very difficult Region 1 in 1A Division 2. They're going to have to get through Klondike, Whit Harrell, Motley County. But I think Miami's right there, and I'll tell you why. They've got 8 starters back, and specifically, they are very senior heavy. Very senior heavy, which in 6-man football, especially at 1A Division 2, I can look up their enrollment real quick. At 1A Division 2, if you are senior heavy, that is a luxury. That is a luxury that not a lot of teams have. Okay? This is a school with an enrollment of 60. Okay? If you're senior heavy, something's gone right. And I think especially a second year under Coach Paul Hale, I think Klondike's your favorite in Region 1. I've said that before. I think Whit Harrell's probably second. I think Miami might be third. Mm-hmm. That's a team I'm interested in. Keep an eye on Miami. I think that they are going to be a dangerous team that I think could really make some noise in the 6-man ranks. So those are some sleepers. What are your sleepers? Let us know in the comments. We'll get some in final thoughts. But those are teams that are a little bit off the radar that I think could be in for a big year in 2025 as we are careening towards Texas high school football season coming up this Thursday. We are Texas Football Today. We're here Mondays and Thursdays on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Hey, you! Do you like football?
I do.
And if you're watching this program and you don't like football, sit down, let's have a talk, because I have a lot of questions.
First off, how dare you?
If you like football, may I interest you in becoming a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber? Now, why would you want to do that, you may be asking? I'm doing the Brian Schottenheimer thing. He asks questions that he answers himself.
Yes.
He does that a lot. He's like, now why do we do that? Because of this. Why should you become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber? Because we'll send this magazine to you, 2025 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, which I pointed to easily on the first try. And you get a year of exclusive access to TexasFootball.com, all the great stuff, including we have computer projections of every Texas high school football game this week, all 740 plus. It'll be on TexasFootball.com later this week. You get access to that. And perhaps most of all, you get a year of Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
That's big time.
Starting Thursday, you can stream big time games every week on Texan Live. Dozens and dozens. An irresponsible number of football games.
Heck, we got volleyball games happening tomorrow.
Plus volleyball.
Water polo on Wednesday.
Water polo. Every UIL sport we've got on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. But even if you're only in it for the football, which you shouldn't be, but even if you're only in it for the football, you get dozens of games.
Yeah. Every
week, including big time games, which we'll be getting to on Thursday's show. TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Makes a great gift as well. Go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Coming up here in just a moment, the head coach of the Temple Wildcats is coming home. Coach Chad President will join us. But first, a word from these valued partners.
Hello, Candace.
Not you again.
Me again. Remember our last oil change? Your boyfriend said he knew a guy who knew a guy. None of those guys knew what they were doing, including you, Todd.
Silence your oil change anxiety at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, where you can watch our experts change your oil right from your car.
Thanks for coming in.
And finish in about 15 minutes. Valvoline. Service you can see, experts you can trust.
Pour some sunshine with new First Light Community Coffee's first ever light roast. This blend has notes of honey and brown sugar that will brighten any part of your day. Try First Light now at communitycoffee.com.
Every legend starts with a vision. For Dave Campbell, that vision was clear. Tell the story of Texas football like never before. In 1960, he built something no one had before, a magazine that became the Bible of Texas football. Coaches, players, and fans didn't just read it, they lived by it. His words shaped the game. His vision built a legacy. And his name? it will always be written in the story of Texas football. Dave Campbell's Texas Football, where legends begin.
Friday Night Football is here, and Hometown is trusted by thousands of schools across the nation to make game days effortless. Sell tickets online, easily scan them at the gate, track sales in real time, and keep your community connected with a free athletic website. Make every game a hometown game. Visit hometown.com to learn more. Back here on Texas Football Today, I am Greg, that is Ashley, and Pickle, let's go to the Bology hotline and go to Central Texas, to the 254, to talk with the new head coach of the Temple Wildcats, getting ready for his first game as head coach. We're pleased to be joined by Coach Chad President. Coach, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Like I tell everybody, I'm literally living the dream. I can't complain about anything. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, Coach, and we can start there, certainly. This is you get an opportunity to come home, to coach your hometown team, to coach your alma mater, a place where you were such a star there as a quarterback. And I am curious for you what waking up this morning, knowing it's game week, knowing that you're going to be leading your Temple Wildcats onto the field on Friday night, what this morning has been like for you?
It's just been, busy a little bit, trying to make sure you get everything ready for Friday, minus the X's and O's. We want to make sure the roster is right, every name is spelled right, for our media guide, just behind the scenes stuff that you want to make sure is up and running so you don't have to worry about it at the last second. But everything else has been good. Just everybody keeps asking, you ready for Friday? But it's like I tell them I'm ready for Monday. You know what I mean? Just trying to take it one day at a time.
This is obviously a program you're very familiar with, and I am curious for you, because you get promoted to take over this program. I am curious for you what challenges you've noticed taking over the big chair. We hear that from coaches all the time, that there's a big difference between the assistant coach and the head coach. From your perspective, what have you noticed about the transition in jobs?
I think just, everything is on your plate. Everything's coming your way, questions, concerns, frustrations, excitement. So just trying to balance and make sure you deal with all that correctly. And then, at the end of the day, make sure your staff is prepared with everything that they need, from equipment to computers to Wi-Fi, for workouts, practice, schedules, so they can plan their trips with their families or off days with their families and stuff like that. So just trying to make sure you're organized and make sure you're ahead of the game, and, trying to be, proactive and not reactive.
Talking with Chad President, head coach of the Temple Wildcats, on the Bology hotline here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Coach, you are a guy who knows this program inside and out, perhaps uniquely suited to answer this question. For folks who have not been or maybe unfamiliar with Temple Wildcat football, can you put into words what is it about this program and what is it about that place that makes it special?
It's like the traditions and history, being one of the winningest football programs in the state, the blue front, white back pants, being right off of I-35, if you're ever going northbound or southbound, you can see our stadium. I think just the history and traditions that has gone on, and then, just making playoff runs and going to state championships, that's what kind of makes it great. But the thing that makes it run are the kids. You get kids from north side, south side, west side, and east side of Temple that, come from different backgrounds, and they come here and, they want to play some football and try to leave their mark on the football program. And, like I said, all kids from different backgrounds just coming together, having fun, and, trying to get victories at the end of the day.
I do want to ask you about the guy you hired to replace you. Because aside from having a new head coach, obviously Temple needed a new offensive coordinator. Garrett Campfield, the new offensive coordinator there. What was it about Coach Campfield that made him the right fit for this job there with the Wildcats?
We've been together since I started out at Rockwall East. Ironically, first day on the job, there's an open desk, and the open desk is right next to his desk. And, the first day I met him, we kind of just clicked, and, we kind of we are best friends now. He knows this offense, inside and out, just like I do. And so, that's what kind of made that transition easy, and finding somebody, to replace me. And he's done a great job in his new role. Here we're fortunate enough that our coordinators are out of the classroom. So that means, a lot of stuff that I don't want to deal with, sometimes he has to deal with it. And so, it's just been a good transition for him and his family, and he's going to do a great job for us here.
This is a team that has high expectations. 12 starters coming back. One of those guys is your quarterback, Champ Mayo, and you, of course, a former Temple quarterback. You know the position well. You know what it takes to be a Temple quarterback. I'm curious from your perspective, when you take a look at Champ Mayo, you're the guy who sees him every day in practice. What is it about him that makes him special? What is it that for you makes him likely to be the next great Temple quarterback?
Just every day wanting to be better and fix his mistakes from the day before. I mean, he's a knowledgeable kid. He's, now that he's my student aide, he has all these off periods as a senior. So one of his classes, he's my student aide. So now we get to spend more time just watching some film and, just talking about life and, understanding the pressure that comes with playing this position. No matter where you are, you can be in Temple, you can be in Dallas, Houston, wherever the case may be. But everything, when it's all good, you'll get the praise, and everything's bad, they'll talk about you. So we just been focusing on trying to stay even keeled, and he's done a really good job, this off season and in the summer and, the 2 weeks of fall camp of just leading us vocally. His actions speak for themselves, but, his voice has to carry weight through our team.
The other guy that I know on your roster that everybody's going to be clamoring about is your Baylor committed, the defensive end, Jamarian Carlton. The tape is really remarkable. With Jamarian and then the defense as a whole, what has you excited about him entering his senior year and also the defensive unit as a whole?
The main thing for him is he's taking that next step. Just been taking care of his body. He's added some weight, but hasn't lost a step in his explosiveness or his speed or his power. And so very fired up for him. And then our defense is, we go by the swarm and compete. That's kind of our identity. And so that's what they do. They swarm, and when they get to the football, they're trying to compete for it, whether that's knocking it out or securing the tackle. And, just very impressive, some young guys that have stepped up and, some guys that are coming back, leading those younger guys. And, just all the way around good defense right now, and just very proud of they played in the scrimmage and how they've been playing, since fall camp and in spring ball. The improvement on the defensive side has been tremendous.
I want to ask you, talking with Chad President, head coach of the Temple Wildcats on the Bology Hotline on Texas Football Today. Coach, I want to ask you a little bit about your district, District 12-6A. You obviously know it well. It's a Central Texas who's who. Teams like Harker Heights, like Midway, Shoemaker, Bryan, Coppers Cove, Killeen. You're a guy who knows this district probably better than anybody. From your perspective, when you take a look at District 12-6A, I'm curious what you see.
One thing I see is a lot of great head coaches. Coach Gillespie up at Midway, he was actually my coach at the University of Tulsa. He's done a great job since he's gotten there. And then, look across the board, for the most part, all these head coaches have either been at their school for a while or been other places, did a good job, and now they're at our schools in our district. And so, much respect from the coaching standpoint. And then, just kid-wise, we get to see these kids at track meets, basketball games. A lot of kids in Central Texas play multi-sports, and, a lot of them play football. So you get to kind of see these kids year-round and see how they compete, on the track and field, basketball court, and, just very familiar with, our kids, their kids. And so it's almost like every game's like a rivalry game in our district because, we see them, year-round. And so it's just a really talented district. I don't think there's any team we can take lightly. It's kind of wide open in our district right now. I know Harker Heights is the front runner because they won district last year, but I think it's pretty wide open right now. So anything can happen in this district on a Friday night.
And finally, Coach, I do want to ask you about your opponent on Friday night. You guys will open the season coming up this Friday night there at Wildcat Stadium, taking on Nuevo Leon, Mexico, a program down there. And I know Temple has had a history of playing teams from south of the border. I know that there's a unique challenge there as far as taking on this program. How do you prepare your guys to go up against what is going to be a very different experience, not only just in week one of the season, but also playing a team that is so unique from south of the border?
I think, playing them last year, you could see that they were a very physical team, and they play hard, from start to finish, no matter what the score is, no matter if if you're up by a lot or if it's a close game, they play hard. So I think for us is, fixing the corrections we need to make from the scrimmage against Hutto, and then, just coming out, feeling the energy from the home crowd and, protecting our turf. That's what we're going to talk about this week is protect home. And, that's one of our goals this season is go undefeated at home. But the team we're playing, like I said, they play hard, they play physical. They're very good on special teams. They give you different looks, and they're coached well as well. They got a good quarterback that can sling it a little bit. Defensively, they got some stout guys up front. So, it's going to be a physical game, and we just got to come out, start fast, and finish strong.
Last thing, I have to make sure I ask you this. This is, you, of course, back in 2014, led Temple to the state championship game, more than 3,000 yards. You are also only 28 years old. My question for you, are you the scout team quarterback?
Yes, I am. I started doing that last year. Did it 1 year just to kind of get the tempo going. And Coach Rocco calls it the President Bowl on Wednesday. So on Wednesdays, I go out there and I'm a scout quarterback. But Monday through Tuesday, I'm kind of trying to gearing up for that day. My knees are trying to hold me up a little bit. So, but yes, on Wednesdays, I'm a scout team quarterback.
Okay. Now, have any of your defensive backs picked you off?
I think I had one last year. It was a little windy, you know what I mean? But I try not to make any excuses. But, and they like to talk a little mess and say, oh, you don't got it no more and stuff like that. But this year I got a surprise for him. I'm going to wear my cleats out here on Wednesday and get after it a little bit.
Chad President, he's the head coach of the Temple Wildcats. Coach, we appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the new job, and excited to see your boys on Friday night.
Appreciate y'all and everything that y'all do. Y'all take care.
All right. Thanks a lot, Coach. There he goes. Chad President, head coach of the Temple Wildcats in the Apology Hotline. Join us here. I had to ask him. I mean, he's one of the youngest coaches in Texas. He might be, as far as 6A coaches are concerned, he's 28. He doesn't turn 29 till November.
I was like, him and I are the same age, which is wild.
Who do you think has a better arm?
Why is that a question? This is the second show back.
I know.
And we just went over the cannons.
You're right. That's true.
Last week.
That's true. I'm sorry. You're right. My bad.
Get at me.
Excited to see them. I know they're fired up down there in Temple.
And you can watch them live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
You're darn right
week.
you can. You darn right you can. So Friday night, if you want to lock in a little Temple football, you can.
And you should.
And it will be here's a bold prediction. We're recording the picks later today. Here's a pick.
Okay.
Wildcat Stadium will be full on Friday night.
Wow, you really went out on a limb there. Those people in Temple just hate football,
What we in the business call a layup.
Yeah, that's a lock.
Anyway, we appreciate Coach Chad President hopping on with us. We are Texas Football Today here Mondays and Thursdays on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Hey, many different things to tell you about. It's a big week of programming this week. It's, of course, week 1. It's kickoff week on TexasFootball.com. A reminder, Friday night. What are you doing? I'm asking you out. Not you, Pickle.
Okay,
You're
good.
spoken for. I went to dinner with your husband on Friday. What are you doing? You, the royal you. Because I think I know what you should be doing.
You're partying with us.
You should be watching Texas Football Tonight. Dave Campbell's Texas Football Tonight right here from this here set. It'll be Ashley Pickle and myself bringing you 90 full minutes of live high school football scores, highlights, analysis, tomfoolery. Probably less tomfoolery.
We did. We got a comment earlier. Some hotshot in the comments put in there. He was like, "I just keep waiting for this show not to be Bush League," and I was like, "My guy, when in the world did we ever market this for not being Bush League?"
We
literally open up this show saying it's your favorite mediocre internet show. Like, open your ears, my guy.
Yeah, that feels like poor branding on our part if people are getting the mistake.
We're super self-aware.
I know. Yeah.
So anyway, welcome to new viewers.
Watching.
Enjoy mediocrity on this one.
Thanks.
Texas Football Tonight will be not mediocre.
Correct.
But this one.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Come on.
Anyway, Friday night, 10:30 p.m. Come on by. Hang out with your friends. We're going to got scores, highlights, analysis. The only statewide recap show across the state of Texas. Make sure you come and hang out with us. All right, Pickle, one last thing to do today. I want to direct you to something we had up on TexasFootball.com this week. And that is a survey that we put out for coaches across the state of Texas. And look, we love Texas high school football coaches. We deal with them on the regular, right?
We have the opportunity
Yes.
to deal with
We have the opportunity to deal with them on the regular. And we asked them, because of our space, we like to every once in a while go to them and say, hey, we got some questions. We wanted to take a pulse of Texas high school football coaches and ask them, hey, what's going on in your world? What do you really think about it? And one of the things that I think is really interesting about doing this is coaches, I think, inherently are going to be a little bit protective of their answers because, they are public figures within the state of Texas, right? However, we said, hey, we're not going to ask your name. We're not going to track down who you are. We just want to know what you think of these questions. And so we put out a survey to them and got 241 responses from Texas high school football head coaches and asked them a variety of different questions. One of them we asked was about rule changes they want to see. We asked them, what rule changes do you want to see? The top thing we heard from them is that they wanted sideline technology. They wanted sideline technology. They wanted the ability to communicate with their players on the field. Now, UIL listened to that and they have allowed limited use of technology. That is one thing you'll see, by the way. You'll see some quarterbacks with like smartwatches, right? That they'll be able to look at and they'll signal in the play that way. It's limited. You still can't have like iPads on the field. You can't have things like that. Yeah. But there is limited sideline technology. Coaches want that.
Makes sense. I feel like if you go from one extreme to the next and you just like open it up to being full technology, you kind of run the risk of people taking advantage of that. So I think, stair-stepping your way in makes sense.
The other thing, and this is where the anonymity part of it comes kind of hurts us, because one of the things they want to bring back the cut block. You may remember a couple of years ago, essentially the cut block has been legislated out of the game where you kind of chop down a player at their knees and for safety reasons. But coaches think that at least a good number of coaches mentioned that's the rule that they would want to change. They would want to bring back the cut block. They also mentioned they want to change the targeting penalty to make it so it's not necessarily an automatic ejection, right? And then they wanted home field advantage for district champions across the board. 6A and 5A already have it. They want it 4A and below. We asked them, what is the biggest challenge you face as a head coach right now? And the most common answer was dealing with parents. Dealing with parents that there's sometimes unrealistic expectation. The other thing that's interesting that they mentioned is they said that overall, they have a hard time finding, recruiting, and keeping quality coaches. That there is a coaching shortage overall, a shortage of quality coaches across state. That they have a hard time filling their staff with guys who are experienced, guys who are who are capable, and things like that. That I thought was very interesting. Coaches, we asked them what they think is the most undervalued aspect of their job. Overwhelmingly, they said the time commitment.
Oh, yeah.
They said the time commitment. There was a quote. He said, one of the coaches said, I spend more time with other people's kids than my own. Which
ain't that the truth?
is the truth, for sure. They also, a lot of these coaches mentioned that they feel like they are not just teachers, but builders of character. That their job is not just to be football coaches, but also like mentors and character coaches.
Yeah. I would say, man, for a lot of coaches, especially assistants, I would think that a lot of that comes down to that more so than even being a coach.
We asked coaches one of the most, I think, hot button topics in Texas high school football. Where should the state championship games be? People love sounding off on this.
No, yeah.
A plurality of coaches said that they want the games to be at AT&T Stadium as the permanent home. But there is a strong minority I think it was about 40-something%. We gave them like 9 different options. 40-something% said they wanted it to be permanently at AT&T Stadium. Around 22% of coaches wanted it to be a rotating model between AT&T, NRG Stadium, and the Alamo Dome. So there is a strong minority, but a plurality of coaches want it to be permanently at AT&T Stadium.
Yeah.
A clear majority of coaches wanted 7A. They want Class 7A. But it's not a runaway consistent. It was about 60-40. 60% of coaches want a 7A, but 40% said they didn't want it. How about this? You can't get coaches to agree on anything, but we asked them if they want their players to be playing in multiple sports. Okay? They want to be playing in multiple sports. Mm-hmm. We surveyed 241 coaches. 241 coaches said yes.
Makes sense.
They want multi-sport athletes. They want their guys playing multiple sports.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I would
assume that track is
bingo.
definitely the multiplier in that. If you took track out, I would think that would go down a little bit, but it also doesn't surprise me.
We asked about NIL, and specifically NIL at the high school ranks. Most coaches say NIL has not affected their school yet, but that the vast majority of them oppose NIL at the high school level, saying that it could have locker room division, entitlement, and erosion of team culture. This is a quote from a coach. "It's easily the worst thing in the history of high school and college football. It encourages and enables quitting. Politicians in the court system now run football," which is certainly interesting. To be clear, I want to be very clear. In the state of Texas, there's no NIL for high school athletes. That is the case right now. That would have to be changed by the legislature.
Yeah, I was like, it's actually illegal. Like,
that is something that is.
It's not just like a rule.
That's not a UIL rule. That is a legislative rule. The legislature would have to change that.
Because you're dealing with minors.
We asked coaches, if we gave you a check for $100,000, what would you do with it? The single most common response was that they would improve their weight room.
Okay, that makes
improve
sense.
the weight room.
That's a hefty expense.
The next biggest thing would be they would get equipment. They would get especially helmets, shoulder pads, etc. That kind of top tier equipment. But there were also, they mentioned locker rooms, they mentioned facilities, but those are the two big ones. The big ones were weight room and equipment.
Well, and I bet more so than anything when it comes to equipment, usually the varsities seem to be really taken care of. That's probably just like, hey, we want the same kind of good equipment for our JV and freshman teams and stuff like that too.
We asked Texas high school football coaches which Texas college football team, which staffs did they most enjoy dealing with. The top three, or rather the top one overwhelmingly, was Texas Tech. Significantly more than any other school. But after that, UTSA, Texas, and Baylor showed up pretty consistently as far as the programs that coaches most enjoy dealing with. On the other end, the programs that the coaches least enjoy dealing with. Texas A&M received the most number of votes, about 1 out of every 4 responses. Texas was next, so very polarizing are the Longhorns. Rice and North Texas rounded out the top 4. Rice and North Texas, as far as which programs coaches enjoyed dealing with most. We asked them who the best, besides themselves, who's the best coach in Texas high school football. There were 2 names that came up over and over. Do you want to guess?
Scott Surratt.
Bingo.
Todd Dodge.
Good guess. He's actually like in that next tier. Gary Joseph.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that's a yes.
Scott Surratt, Gary Joseph.
Gary Joseph statistically is.
The clear consensus were the 2 best coaches in Texas high school football. Todd Dodge and Randy Allen got mentioned a lot too. Mm-hmm. And then there were a fair number. There's kind of this third tier. It's kind of like Surratt and Joseph up here. Mm-hmm. Dodge and Randy Allen next.
All Hall of Famers.
And then kind of this next tier with like multiple mentions. Drew Sanders at Vandergrift, John King at Longview, Larry Hill at Smithson Valley, and Reginald Samples at Duncanville. Yep. We're kind of that next tier of guys.
That seems spot on.
We asked coaches, do they feel like their teams have been poached? Do they feel like they have lost a player due to perceived poaching? Right? About 6 and 10 said yes. They feel like. But what's interesting is 6 and 10 said yes, but then another like 14% of them said they didn't know. They were not sure, which to me makes me think that it's hard to kind of track or prove there, which is interesting. We asked them what's the biggest obstacle for their players to get recruited. They think that the portal is the biggest thing.
Yeah. That
basically, and you think about it,
makes sense.
If you can transfer, then once you go into the college ranks, there's just then if those guys are circling around a variety of different programs, there's just fewer spots for these guys. Mm-hmm.
I feel like mathematically you can back that up.
Quote, coaches have told me they're only taking transfers, not high school kids, said one coach. There's other coaches who are at small school levels who feel like they just have a hard time getting noticed because they just get overlooked. Then we asked them, what do you think is the biggest fear? What's your biggest fear about Texas high school football in the future? NIL was the biggest thing that they mentioned. They think that if there is NIL combined with looser transfer rules, that could create super teams and really kind of harm Texas high school football. Many fear, I'll read directly from the article, many fear that open enrollment, vouchers, and school choice will strip away the hometown pride that defines high school football in Texas. There's also lack of there's a lack of numbers, lack of young coaches entering the profession. And finally, might as well do a gut check on these guys. We asked them, how's your team going to be, Coach? What are you guys going to do this year? The majority of the answers said that they were going to be playoff teams first or second round. There was a noticeable second tier who thought that they were going to go to like the regional semifinals or the regional finals. About 15% of them said they're going to make it the state semifinal or better. About 15% of them. So only a handful, for what it's worth, said they won't make the playoffs, which I think is probably true. I think if you were to ask coaches, you're going to make the playoffs. I think about 15% of them be like, nah, probably not this year.
Yeah.
Right? That's a pretty good. So anyway, you can go read this on TexasFootball.com. It is what 241 Texas high school football coaches really think about football's future. You can find that on TexasFootball.com. Let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment, Final Thoughts.
Yes. So just to kind of give you a program schedule moving forward, and we will be adding more shows week 2. Some of them we have to wait until an actual game of football is played. Tomorrow, Mallory Hartley, Greg Powers, and Sam Moore will be here with This Week in Recruiting, our new Rising property. So excited about that. On Wednesday, you can tune in to wherever you're watching this. We'll be running the Picks video live.
Yeah, we will.
On Thursday, we will have our mega episode of Texas Football Today. You and I will be here.
A new look episode.
It'll be a long one.
New stuff for you, including, by the way, if you need a reason to tune in, mailbag.
I'll be here.
Well, okay. I was going to say mailbag. We're going to be answering your questions.
Yes.
So make sure you stick around on Thursday. We'll answer your questions at the end.
And then on Friday at noon, you can watch Tep and Step. And then on Friday at 10:30 p.m., we will be making our new debut of our newly formatted Texas Football Tonight. So incredibly excited about that. So content like crazy, but primarily just like tune in at noon every day, and there will be something streaming for you.
I should have gotten more sleep this off season. I can already feel it.
Yeesh.
Because now there's no time.
Yeah.
Anything else? Pot right? That good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Anything else?
No.
You guys got anything? Speak up. I can't hear you. It's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook. Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram. Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And of course, see us at Texas Football.
Oh. It's kickoff week. I just want to let people know that there's we're branding it that. This is kickoff week. The whole week we celebrate all week for kickoff week. People need to know that.
Anything else? Floor is yours.
It's kickoff week.
Thanks.
That's an important thing. This is payback for the Taylor Swift thing earlier.
Thanks to Chad President, head coach of the Temple Wildcats, for being our guest. For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. We will see you Thursday for kickoff. Texas Football Today.